Everyone, limb and ear, we can live with hate and fear.
Living your best life now.
Find a way that we must go. We need peace.
Peace.
We got to work together to find a way.
We got to work together to find a way. Come on now.
Work together to find a way.
Come on, everybody.
We must work.
We must work together, hand in hand. Oh yeah, I miss you guys. Sorry I wasn't here last week, but let's just dance a little bit, because I am going to enjoy life, and I want you to do the same. Everybody. Woo! Yes, we got to work together. We got to work together, my people. Come on now. Peace. Yeah.
We got to work together to find a way.
Oh yeah. Let me do the Panamanian style. Ooh yo yo. Ooh yo yo. Ooh yo yo. Come on, everybody. Ooh yo yo. Ooh yo yo. Peace in the world today. That's what we need. We need to work together. We need to stop fighting with each other. We need to just come in peace. Come on now. Oh, yes. Work somebody. Birdie, how you doing? Mr. Shadak from Fiji. I love you. Pamela Henry. Evangelist Prosper. Yes, how are you? How's everybody today? I'm coming with peace today. I'm going to be unveiling the illusion today. I'm going to be doing all sorts of things today. And you stay on this show tonight from the beginning to the end, because I have a lot to share. Hola, Carlos. Chaverra, ¿a ti cómo estás? Chaverra, así mismo. Come on, everybody. Everybody from Fiji, from Belize. Let me see who else. From Panama. Oh, my God, from Nigeria. Oh, my Bahamas. Oh, my goodness. U.S. That's what I'm talking about. It's all about me. Come on now. I am telling you, God is good. Somebody. There's work we got to do. We look forward from Fiji. Oh, yes. I will be going to Fiji soon. That's right. All right, let's get ready to start our show. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy. I am so happy that all of you tuned in. And I missed you guys last week, but you guys know where I was because you guys keep up with me. I was in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and I am going to tell you, I had a wonderful time. And I have to say that God is just good. And if all of you agree with me, do something. Jump up, hit the hearts, hit the likes, because God is good. And tonight, we are going to have a fabulous show. I'm going to share a lot of things with you. And actually, this show is supposed to be about success. Yes, success. And we're going to tip into that because last week we could not talk about that because actually the internet service was just a little bad over there. So that's why I didn't get a chance to tune in. But tonight, living your best life now. I'm telling you something. I am enjoying my life, and I want you to enjoy your life. And this is why it's important for you to join me tonight. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Judith Benoit, my mother. I love you. I am telling you, this is going to be, as I said, a marvelous show. Living your best life now. I want to thank, first of all, my husband, Felipe, and our Chief Marketing Director, Edward Winfrey. He has been working very hard to make sure things go smooth. So tonight, we are going to enjoy our show. Now, this show is about my rebirth. Yes, my rebirth in the motherland. First of all, I want to thank somebody that was able to make me visit Ethiopia. I received an invitation from Lexi Mojoais, president and CEO of Legendary Gold Limited. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Lexi hosted the African Fashion Reception in Addis Ababa, actually the African Fashion Reception 2018 at the headquarters of the African Union. Yes, it was truly a grand event held September 5th through September 7th. I was a guest speaker representing Panama, and also our youth ambassador, designer Jean Quijano, attended the event. So I want to thank him for attending, and we had a special event. One of the things I want to start off this show is by saying and letting Lexi know is that even though you had the fashion show reception, I experienced so many things spiritually. I met so many people, very wonderful people. And it was like a reunion. But most of all, I was at home. That was my first trip to Africa. And honestly, I felt like I went home. And the experience was just marvelous. And I want to share that with you today. But first of all, I also want to address something. Our topic today is actually about success, but I want to tie that in with success and a nation's success. Two things, because it's not just about our success, it's about the nation. I learned that while I was visiting Selassie's tomb. And I stood there and I thought about all the things that he did for his nation. And I believe that we have drifted away from the real purpose of how we are supposed to live together, how we are supposed to believe and fight for for the purpose of the things that God wants us to do. And I want to share this with you. This is a young man in Ethiopia. He sent this letter to me today, and I want to share it with you because we are drifting more and more every day from who we are. We don't recognize it, we don't see it, but we are. And each generation, we're shifting away from our culture. We're shifting away from what God really intended for us to do. His name is Jonathan from Tibet Leather Works. He said this to me: I got your card from last week's business forum in AU. I was inspired by your speech and wanted to respond to your offer and also let you know that business sector I'm involved in. But then this is the part that touched me. He said, let me start by describing where we got our inspiration to work on the leather industry, because he's in the leather business. He said, Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the oldest civilizations in the world, and currently has 80 different nationalities and 80 different cultures. Ethiopia was able to maintain its tradition and identity throughout the years because it's one of 2 African countries that was never colonialized. But in the past 20 years, due to globalization, the culture of Ethiopia, like food, clothing, music, art, architecture, and more, has been westernized and has been changing rapidly and making it appear as if it's a one-way street where one culture is dominant over all other. For my friends and I, a simple everyday product that's filled with a greater story was a solution to introduce Ethiopian culture to the world and a way for us to give back to our forefathers for abandoning an ancient wisdom they passed down to us. That's the key word. He said, wow, that touched me because this is what we have done. We have drifted away from who we are. And this young man, he's not even in his 30s. He's still in his 20s. And he said, Ethiopian culture to the world and a way for us to give back to our forefathers for abandoning an ancient wisdom they passed down to us. The name of our company is Tebeb Leatherworks. Tebeb is the name given to the traditional Ethiopian textile patterns. So those are the things that he wants to bring back and is bringing back. He says, we see our products as a taste sample palette of Ethiopian beautiful culture and patterns to the world. We buy our raw material. Listen to this. We buy our raw materials from local markets to support the local economy, and we are working with Ray Charity Organization, a local NGO school that gives free education and 2 meals a day for more than 380 needy children, to train the families of the students without jobs to make our products and create job opportunities. So not only are they going back and they're respecting their forefathers for what their forefathers have done for them, but they're also creating opportunity in their environment and also in their community. We believe, he says, we have something to offer to you. That's to me, as you have something to offer to us all. We want to expand our business to the world, to Panama and Latin America, and closely work with you, that is with me. And we like you to be our mentor and guide us through this journey. The reason I am saying this to you and the reason I'm sharing this with you, it is because there's so many young people out there in the world that wants to do something. The way the world is showing us is that though all young people are violent, young people are doing negative things, but there's so many young people, as they call it, the third world, that are doing great things. And I want to thank Jonathan. Jonathan, I want to thank you because you are willing to do the things that you're doing. And I want to let the world know that I am willing to mentor you and to mentor the rest of the youths, the 200 youths that I've met in Addis Ababa. I am ready to mentor you. And also those of you that are watching, I want you to know I need your help. If you're retired, if you are out there and have nothing to do, or even if you have something to do and you want to join me and help me with what I am doing out there in the world, you are welcome to do so. Now, a nation's success. You see, I no longer look at things the same since I've been back. Our topic today was supposed to be success. Well, it's going to be success, but the success is no longer about just my success. The success have to be a success within the nation and also with the nation. If we continue, let me just say this. If we continue to think that success is only about you, you're wrong. If you live your life knowing that you have children today, your success cannot be just about you and your child. It has to be about your great grandchildren. And in order for that to work,
You have to make sure to think just like Jonathan. Jonathan is not only thinking about himself, but he's thinking about his ancestors and his future generation. Now, isn't that amazing? You see, when you think of the ideal version of your nation, it likely reflects your own values. We vote in accordance with our values and live our own lives according to them as well. So, critical to the success of both people and their nations are the value they adopt. And that's important. Personal values are central to where people end up in life. Values influence actions, and these subsequent actions help determine life's outcome, both in terms of happiness and financial success. You see, civil society could have momentous impact on development, especially in states where the government is fragile. By pooling resources and mobilizing all the resources possible, it can play an important part in advancing social development. This is no longer about you. This is no longer about me. A nation has to work together with its people. The people have to work with the nation. There are various examples in the world where nations having fragile governance still made extraordinary progress. This can only be done when the people come together for a common cause. You see, we have to have a common cause, or for a common economic purpose to build a sound foundation for development. Are you guys following what I'm saying? You see, we spend so much time during the day listening to all these politics and all these negative things that has been happening for centuries. And for somehow we have not unveiled the illusions of the things that are happening to us. We are so convinced, and there's something wrong with us because we keep doing the same thing over and over. We keep putting people in office that is not really doing anything for us. You see, let's fight for the common cause, fight for the hope, aspiration, and a quality life, because this is how we can build a sound foundation for development. Together we can make a difference, and that is where civil society comes into play. When I was in Ethiopia, I saw many things. I saw the good, and I also saw the bad. I saw, on my way to the airport, I saw little babies, children. When I say babies, 10 years old, 11 years old, sniffing glue, getting high, right there in the street, knocking the cars, telling them, asking for money to go and buy more glue. When I see those things, this is not just in Ethiopia, this is in the world. No matter where you go, you are going to see travesty, you are going to see problems, you are going to see all these things. But I'm here to tell you today, if we continue to go in the directions of ignoring what is happening in the world and what is happening in America, your children are not going to have a future. If you are just focusing on you and your child at this present time, their children are not going to make it. A nation means a large group of people united by a common language, ancestry, history, or culture. We have to really go back and think what we are doing. Our ancestors have left us so much. I went to visit the tomb of Selassie. Selassie, if those of you don't know who he is, he was crowned emperor in 1930, but exiled during World War II, after leading the resistance to the Italian invasion. He was reinstated in 1941 and sought to modernize the country over the next few decades through social, economic, and educational reform. Why educational reform? I want to touch bases on that. And I hope leaders, ministers, presidents are listening to me. You see, we have been, how do I put this? We are under an illusion. When a nation is colonialized, they bring their education. They take what you have received from your ancestors and they re-educate you. But the education is to control your mind. And we are still under that spell. And if we're still under that spell, your nation is not going to grow. Your people is not going to prosper. We have to make an effort of changing our mindset from what colonializers have done to you. Because I have discovered, I have found out, I have seen how our nations are falling. Why? Because we are still under the illusion of your colonializers. You believe what you're doing is right, but let me tell you something, what you're doing is wrong. It is time to build an economic foundation for your nation and stop allowing other nations to come in and bribe you, seduce you, and tell you how your nation should be ran. No. Our nations are rich. The whole of Africa have been colonialized except for two, Ethiopia and Liberia. But then Ethiopia was colonialized briefly, but it came back. I respect that nation. And I want Ethiopia, Fiji, Panama, the world to stand on your feet. You don't need the outside world to control your minds because your people are suffering. I came back with a different mentality. It is not about me. It is not about you. It is about us. We can make changes together. We can trade together. We can educate each other. You see, in Africa, whomever colonialized you, that is who you do business with. Ethiopia, we are getting ready now to do business in the African, in the Latin American region, in the Americas, and also the Caribbean and other places. You see, you were taught to only do business with your colonializers. I know some people have told me, don't use that word. But you see, I'm not politically correct. I have to speak truth. You see, this is a time we all fantasize as we commute to a place where we work so hard, hoping to be rescued. We have to really realize now that time is changing. The world is going crazy. And we have to come back as one, regardless of your race, regardless of who you are, because we've been separated on purpose by race. You have been told that if you're white, you are superior. You have been told if you're black, you are inferior, and you believed it. Well, let us unveil the illusion tonight, because neither one is. You are a human being. God created you all equal, including me. And we have to stop this illusion and pretending that one is superior to the other. There's no way we are going to survive on this earth, as you can see. We are falling apart. We don't even know what success is. You know why? Because success has been defined for you by your colonializers. Yes. In this system, you were told what success is. You were told that if you didn't have the big home and the big cars and all these other things, you're not successful. I am here to tell you today, do not believe that you're not successful because you don't have all those things. If you don't have the shoes with the red bottom, you believe that you're nothing. You have nothing. But as soon as you buy that shoe, you feel good. It's just a thing. You have to have that power within that God gave you to know whatever. It doesn't matter what you have. You are powerful. And those are the things that we have to change. We have to change the system within us and bring out what God has given us. That's why Jonathan said, I am going to bring back what my ancestors have given me. And I am going to exercise the power within me. I am going to help the children. I am going to educate. But he's asking for help, and help he will get. You see, man cannot define success for you and never could have. To be honest, being successful does not come with a title. It does not come with a position. It does not come with a salary or a place of residence. When you achieve levels given to you, this is not real success. This is standard by those that created the definition of success for you. You have exceeded the standard for what is expected of you based on what someone else thinks. You are limited by a man-made formula that has calculated your worth. You're worth more than that. How is it possible that Ethiopia managed to remain uncolonialized by Europeans between 1880 and 1914? How is that possible? So I have to give them a hand. You understand? Because if they could do it, why couldn't the other nations not? You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this: if that could happen then, what happened to us now? Why are we in the situation that we are in today? You see, there are those that want to hate, and there are those that want to love. There are those that want to build, and there are those that want to destroy. Why is it that we still have slavery today? They call it modern slavery. There's nothing modern about it. It never ended. It never stopped. We have sex trafficking, women and child sex trafficking, forced labor, bonded labor or debt bondage, domestic servitude, forced child labor. In these African countries, what is happening, my people? What is happening? What are we doing to make the changes? Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Because I don't want to sit here and just speak. And you, most of you that know me, knows I am working hard to make a change. I am now the Minister of State. I'm sorry, Minister of Tourism for the state of the African diaspora. Yes, the AU6. Because it is time for a change. It is time for us now to unite, trade, do all the things that we were supposed to do centuries ago. You can do it now. Don't tell me you cannot do it. If I'm going to nations and I'm talking to businessmen and businesswomen for us to trade with each other, I know you can do it. Those of you that have business in the United States, yes, you can do business abroad. Those of you that have business in Africa, yes, you can do business in the Caribbean and Latin America. Yes, you can, because the rest of the world is doing it, but you. Yes. I am working hard because I realize that this is not about me, it's about all of us. But when we do things, all we think of is money. Well, if I don't get paid, I'm not doing it. But let me tell you something, my people. There's so many things I've done without getting paid. But I am telling you, I am seeing the result. Why? Because if we continue to have that mentality, your children will perish. And that I don't want to happen. We have to realize that what happened in the past is still happening now, and it will happen in the future, tomorrow. So in order to stop, we have to sit down and come together and having all these conferences, and then when everybody go home, nothing happens. Well, let me tell you, my children in Ethiopia, let me tell you, I am going to work with you. I am going to guide you just like I guide my children in Panama, in Jamaica, and everywhere else. Because I know you want to do something. But the adults, I don't know what is happening to us. No one wants to do anything anymore. So we have to change. We have to change what is happening in our lives. So my point to you is this tonight, and I know we're going to go over tonight, so don't look at your clock, because this is important. Don't even look at your clock, because we are in a serious situation, and it's going to hurt us tremendously. Yes, we are. So now, I want to say this. Believe in yourselves. Yes, believe in yourselves. Because what is happening now today is that when I was in Ethiopia, I met so many people eager to trade. But they don't know anyone in the Caribbean. They don't know anyone here, there. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to guide you. You see? If we continue to fight with each other, nothing is going to be accomplished. We can even come together in an organization with 20 people or 10 people. We're fighting with each other. You know why? You do not understand who you are. You don't know who you are. Your ancestors died during slavery, during the Holocaust, in Hiroshima. My God, look at ourselves today. We are able to do the things that we do because of our ancestors. Do you ever think about the pain that they went through? I do every single day. This is why people tell me, Mel, you're working too hard. Please. I don't have to pick cotton. I don't have to chop cane. I don't have to be out in the sun day in and day out like they did. I didn't have to eat scraps. I didn't have to beat my kids almost to death to respect the master. That's why you're still beating your children almost to death. Because you don't realize realize, and I'm going to unveil an illusion right now, you don't realize that you beat your children the way you do because your ancestors did it to protect their children. Why are you doing it? Who are you protecting them from? Yes. You get me now? Why are we still eating the things that we're eating? They had to do it. You don't have to do it. That's why we have blood pressure, diabetes, all these things, because we're still doing things that they had to do, but we don't have to do. We are supposed to be progressing. And somehow we're still the same. Yes, we're walking in the street free, and we're telling ourselves that we're free. But take a good look at our lives. Really. Take a good look at our lives. We are still suffering, and we don't realize that we are. I'm going to continue to work hard because ain't no whip going over my back every day. I'm going to continue to do the things that God intended for me to do. You see, those of us that are in this world today, we are supposed to be making the changes, not join what our ancestors went through. We are supposed to make life better for our children. And that's not the way it is today. So my experience, and Lexi, I want to thank you because my experience in Ethiopia gave me more courage, gave me the power in order to sit here and say, it's time for a change. It is time for a change. And if you want to sit there and watch me work, then so be it. But you better get on the ball. The organizations that you have and you're fighting among the organization, stop it. And really work hard and do the things that your ancestors would want you to do. It is time, you see, it is time to unveil the illusion. Unveil the illusion and know who you are. Ya es tiempo de desvelando la ilusión en esta vida. Tenemos que trabajar. It is time to change the mindset. That's why I wrote the book, both of them in Spanish and in English. Because this is why I am the way I am today. I put it in writing. You see. So yes, it is time for change. We are building. And I want you to build also in your community. Right there, your next door neighbor needs help. We have to get back to the principles of life. That's what we have to do. And I'm going to tell you, we are already doing it. There's so many of you that's online here with me that I know that you are doing it. I want to leave these words with you. These are powerful words that I want to leave with you tonight. Love yourself. Trust your instincts. Stay focused. Dream with action. You see, a lot of us are dreaming and we're still in a dream state. It is time to wake up and get into action. Be selfless. Think about others and stop always thinking about yourself. I've gotten to that position where I can't think about myself anymore. I have to continue to think about others. Be wise. Check your character. Maybe you can't work with your fellow colleague because of your character. Be patient and kind and be wise. Study, learn your history. Because if you don't know your history, you have no clue where you're going. You see, you have to understand the pain that your ancestors been through and build on that, not continue that track. You see, I want you to start seeking truth. Seek the truth to understand why we're still in the condition that we're in. Respect your elders. We don't even respect ourselves. Seek truth in order to respect your elders. Changing the world starts with whom? With you. Stop sitting back and waiting for somebody to change things for you. It is time for you to get up right this minute and say, I am going to do something about what's happening in this world. And it doesn't have to be big. Start off small. Help one another to succeed. This is not about you trying to succeed, because at the end, what? I want to continue to help those that need the help. I've already told you. Call me and I will help. Your title does not mean or define you. Because once the title is gone, then you're nothing. Be somebody without the title. Count your blessings, my brothers and sisters. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. Be the man and woman God created you to be. Your title, always you're trying to use it to get things and do things. You don't need that. Use your greatness and power to change the world together. And that is the message for me today. I want to say this before I dismiss tonight. I want to say that all of you that have tuned in tonight, I want to thank you, first of all. But I want us to start working together. I know a lot of you, I get so many emails telling me that I've changed people's lives. And I want you now to change someone else's life. I want to thank my brother Gerson Perea in Colombia. That is my colleague. And we're getting ready to do great things, my brother. I just want you to know that. Because my grandparents are from Colombia also. And Colombia, we are getting ready to do some great things. Panama, and all of you, I'll be in Panama next week, Thursday, to do some other great things. Because I am not going to stop work. I'm just going to keep going and going until when God is ready for me. I don't want to leave any of my talents on this earth. I want to use it all. And I know a lot of you have a lot of talents. Use it. Stop procrastinating. But Ethiopia, my first trip to Africa, I thank you. And I thank my brothers and sisters in Ethiopia that are listening to this show. May God bless you. And also, I want to let you know that you can purchase my book on my website, www.melidaharrisbarrow.com, or for those that live overseas, I'm on Amazon.com. I love you guys, and also I have it in Spanish. And I want to make some announcement too. I will be in Salvador October 2nd through the 7th, and they're having a women's conference, about 150 to 200 women I will be speaking to, and I hope all the young people in San Salvador come on out. Las mujeres virtuosas, I should be there very soon. And I love you guys. I love you guys. Do you guys want to dance with me right now? Let me see. Let me see the heart. Let me see the light. I need to know if you're there. Yes. We got to work hand in hand. Thank you for watching. Living your best life now. And that's what it's about. My God, I'm so happy. Yes. Everybody. Woo! Together, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, we gotta work together.
to find a way. Thank you once again. This is Living Your Best Life Now. Good night. Ciao.